Each of us are on a journey that is full of peaks, valleys, and in-betweens. The voices you will hear share different stories, but all have one common theme: overcoming adversity. Not everyone is a runner, but each of us are enduring in the ultramarathon that is called life. This is the Scarecrow Runner Podcast. Hey friends, thanks for joining me on the Scarecrow Runner Podcast. This is your host, Anthony Gilbert. I hope you're doing well. It is the middle of summer. It is July. It is warm out there. I'm thankful that it's not as hot as it could be, potentially, but it is still warm. Well, let's just call it what it is. It is hot. Anytime the temperatures are over 90 degrees, I would consider that hot. But not only hot, guys, with all the rain that we've had here in the northeast part of Oklahoma, we set a record for the most rain in a 3-month period. Over 36 inches of rain in a 3-month period. Now, unfortunately, our friends in Texas, prayers for all of them in the Kerr County area and the Guadalupe River and other areas in that area that are getting just unbelievable amounts of rainfall. Also, our friends over in North Carolina, Chapel Hill area, getting 1,000-year flood conditions. So, needless to say, ours was not necessarily all at once, right? Flood specifically. It was saturating, heavy rain for the course of days and weeks, ongoing, and day after day and week after week. It seemed like we were getting rain almost every day. And yes, we had flooding, don't get me wrong, but it was over the course of 3 months. But yes, prayers for all of those that are being affected by the flooding right now. But where I was going with that is all that rain super saturated the environment. First of all, the ground is super saturated. So all of that water, we are above drought level for Kansas and Oklahoma that I know of for the first time in years. We're out of the drought. And it is just super saturated. I mean, my yard finally is getting to the point where I can walk across it and not have my feet sink in it when I'm going to the mailbox. For a week or two there, that's all it was you didn't walk across the yard because you might lose your shoe. You might break your ankle off into the ground somewhere and not get it back. But here's the thing, is it's so saturated. And the warmer the temperatures are, the dew point is just ridiculous, right? And that's, the higher the dew point, the more difficult it is for you to actually cool off during your run. Because normally if the dew point's lower and even if the humidity was up, your body still is able to cool off because you sweat, and then over the course of the cooling process, you're able to cool off. But the dew point means that that's how much percentage that the atmosphere has as far as the ability to take on any more water, right? So the higher the dew point percentage or temperature means the chances of the water evaporating and allowing you to cool are very slim. So when you have dew points that are 73, 74, 75, and humidity that's 70, 80%, temperatures in the 70s, you are looking at nastiness. It is no fun. It is just, ugh. It's what you would call a sauna. And that's how most of my training has been this summer. It's like, is it ever going to end? I don't know what I would rather have. Blazing heat and lower humidity, or warmer temperatures, high humidity, and high dew point. I don't know. I don't want either. But if you have to choose one, I think I probably could handle the higher temperatures with lower humidity and lower dew point, because at the end of the day, when the sun goes down or the sun is coming up, it's going to be cooler. So I don't know. The warm, humid aspect, it's no fun. The body works overtime. You don't run as fast. It feels like when you're going out for just a 3-miler, it feels like you're doing 10 because your body's just working that much more. So anyways, with that being said, it's summer. It's nasty out there. And I hope everyone's training is going well. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me and listening in today. I just wanted to touch on something that I have been thinking about for a while. And I think about it on a regular, actually, that it bothers me from time to time because it has affected me in my training. It's affected me in different ways. So I'm sure it's at some point it's affecting you too. And where I want to go with this is we need to run our race. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll hit the points here in a second. But it's a matter of it's time for us to run our race. Not your friend's race, not someone else you see on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or anywhere else. You need to run your race. And not run the race of yesteryear, right? Don't compare yourself to your high school and college days, much like I have before. Run the race that you're in now. Run based off of the season that you're in now. As time goes on, we get older, and yes, we might become stronger runners, smarter runners, but does not mean that we're going to be faster, does not mean that we're going to be more nimble and quick. Things change, right? And so we'll touch on that here in a moment. But that's what I wanted to jump into today real quick is we need to run our race. So here's 5 points to help us get our focus back and get us back on track to run our race. Okay? The first point is define your own why. Not what somebody else does, not what pushes somebody else to get to their points. While it's okay to maybe adopt and integrate what someone else does because you're like, oh, that sounds like a great reason to run. That's okay. You could borrow from somebody. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no copyright protection necessarily on borrowing someone else's why. But here's the thing. You want your why to be as original and as personal as it can be that is specific for you. If it's somebody else's why, it may have a complete different meaning, right? Most likely it does. Their why is their why because, well, there's some reason why. Yeah, I say enough whys there. Define your own why. You want to anchor your motivation with your personal goals and not comparing, okay? Whether it's your health, whether it's your peace of mind, or whether it's a PR, define your why. Why do you run? What is the purpose behind your running, right? Find your why and let that drive you. And oftentimes when you're running and you're going out there and you're having a hard time and you need something to motivate yourself, use that as your mantra, right? I run because this is my why. I did it often during my 100-miler that I ran. I just reflected on my why. It allowed me to have just motivation and inspiration on why was I out there running 100 miles? What was the point of it? Most people don't go out and run 100-milers for fun. Now, there are a few of you sickos out there that will do it and run ultras on the regular, 100-milers on the regular. And that's okay. If that's what pushes you and you enjoy that, do you. But when I was out running 100, I wasn't out there just for grins and giggles. That's not an easy race. That's not something you just train for overnight and just run into it and show up cold turkey. You've got to put time and effort into it. You've got to know why you're out there. If you don't have a why and you're running a race like that, you're likely to end up with a DNF or an injury or I don't know, right? It's just hard to put into words what could happen. Most likely you're not going to finish. You might, but it might be really hard for you too. But you know what? When it's those long, dark, lonely miles at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're hallucinating, you're tired, there's nobody around. It's just you and the ground in front of you, right? One foot in front of the other, whether you're walking or jogging or running. And that's when you start to have those self-reflecting moments. What's going on? Where are you at mentally, physically, emotionally? And that's where the why will drive you. Why am I doing this? What is my purpose? Why do I run these races? To what reason? One of the things that I had from my why was my grandfather had lung cancer. My friend Sean has cerebral palsy and is bound to a wheelchair. Now he has people push him and does amazing things in a wheelchair. But there are people out there that can't walk. There are people out there that can't run. There are people out there that are not able to do the things that I've been blessed to be able to do over the last 35, 40 years. I've been blessed with that gift. And sadly, there are some that don't have that gift, that have never experienced that gift. So that was one of my whys. Why am I out here? Because I want to do something that would be pleasing to my grandpa, right? I'm doing it for you, Grandpa. I'm doing it because I know that you can't hardly breathe and you're suffering. And he's passed on now, right? But that memory still is there. I'm doing this because my friend can't walk. He can't run himself. I'm pushing myself because I know that he would do it if he could. Those are some of the reasons why I would jump out there. Why am I doing this? Well, maybe I want to go set a PR. Maybe I want to go hit the best time I've ever ran for a certain distance. That's fine. I want to run because it helps my mental aspect. I'm mental without running. It's the best therapy that's out there. I am literally a big advocate on running for the mental health aspect. I run because I want to lose weight. I run because I want to have good cardio and a healthy heart. I run because I want to do things to have longevity for my life and to show my kids what's important to me. And why do I run? Because I want to pass the baton of fitness to them, to show them it's important to take care of yourself. You know, those are some of the reasons why I run. Next up, comparison will kill your progress. You know, it says that comparison is the thief of joy, right? And that is 110% so true. When you're constantly measuring yourself, against others, against the past, against whatever is out there, it will lead to burnout, it'll lead to discouragement, and it's going to lead to missed growth and opportunity. What do I mean by that? Well, I ran high school cross country and track. I ran collegiately for cross country. I ran some really fast times. Now, I may not have been the fastest person that's ever put on a pair of shoes, right? I'm not a Jim Ryan. I'm not a Steve Prefontaine. Those are old school. I know I'm dating myself. I'm not a Jim Walmsley. I'm not a Camille Herron. I'm not a Usain Bolt. I don't have blazing speed, but I was fast. I had some good speed. And I ran some good competitive times. And I'm going out, I'm running distances, whether it's a 5K or a 10K or a 15K, half marathon, whatever it might be. And I will compare myself. I'm like, man, I'm just not running it as fast as I used to. I don't have the speed like I used to. That is a fact. I am literally like 6 to 7 minutes slower. Now, I haven't trained for the 5K like I did in high school and college. But I'm literally right now 6 or 7 minutes slower than my times in high school and college. It's like, really? I don't run it as fast as I used to. But man, if I could just run it like I used to. Stop comparing. Stop comparing. It will steal your joy. It will lead you to burning out and frustration. And it just won't be fun. Put the fun back in run. That's what I've been trying to do since I turned 50 last month, is putting fun back in the run. Enjoying it, finding the why, right? Finding some fun in my run. You go and you look at people's stuff on Facebook, and you're like, man, Joe ran his 5K or his half marathon and this, right? Man, he ran it 4 minutes faster than me. Or like, there's some friends that ran the 5K this last Friday on 4th of July that I ran with, and their times were a minute or two faster than mine. I'm like, man, if I could only run faster again and get those times, I'd be able to seriously compete. Stop the comparison. Stop comparing to the past. Run the race that you're in now. Run with the season that you're in now. The season that you're in, right? I'm 50 years old right now. I'm in a new age bracket, a division that I've never ran in before, right? I'm 50 years old. I'm a half century old. That's okay. But I can't be comparing myself to my 20-year-old self. It doesn't work. It's not fair to me, and it's not fair to who I am as a runner. I'm not likely to hit those times ever again unless I really put forth some serious work. And even then I might fall short, but that doesn't mean I can't try to run those times. But I've got to stop comparing myself and putting myself against my old self. Capture what you're doing now. Enjoy who you are now, the season that you're in now, and just enjoy it. Do the best that you can with the training that you are at now. Don't look to yesterday. Look at today. Let tomorrow worry about itself, and let the yesterday worry about itself, right? Because tomorrow has its own problems. Focus on today, the here and now. Progress over perfection. Focus on small wins and improvements. And your pace is definitely something that would be valid. And your journey matters. Like I said, put the fun back and run. I had to really pull back this summer, right before my birthday last month. I was training for an ultra, pushing myself to try to run another 50 miler. And I was really pushing myself. That's that whole mentality of clock in, clock out. Man, I got to get my miles today, and I got to go, and I got to get 7 miles in. I got to get 10 miles in, man. I got to get 15 miles in, and if you miss your run, I was like, dang it, I'm not going to meet where I need to be, and I'm not going to be able to do this, and I'm not going to be able to do that. You've got to stop, okay? Progress over perfection. Focus on small wins. Okay, so right now, I ran right at almost a flat 24 minutes for my 5K. So I decided to stop training for the Ultra, one, because of time and some health reasons. I decided, you know what, let's focus on shorter distances right now, and let's see if we can get some small wins. Let's see if I can improve my 5K time right now versus trying to go in and run another 50 miler or another 100 miler. I've done those distances. I'm okay with not running those distances right now. But I haven't ran a sub 25K in like 20 years. I would love to break 20 minutes again. So that's my goal right now. That's a small win. That's a big goal, right? To drop 4 minutes off my 5K. But right now, my small goal is to knock 2 minutes off of my time. Let's see if I can get it down to 22 minutes. And once I hit 22 minutes, let's see if I can drop it to 20. Small wins, low-hanging fruit. See if you can find something that's obtainable, right? Let's see if I can go run some faster splits. Let's see if I can go and run a faster mile, right? I know I can run in the 7-minute range. Let's see if I can knock that down into the 6-minute range and then build off of that, right? Okay, I did 1 mile at 6:30 pace. Let's see if I can build and get 2 miles and then 3 miles, right? Or how many of those intervals can I get at that particular pace, right? Set small goals for yourself so you can get some achieved results, and set some mid-range goals, and then set some longer-term goals. You want to get progress over perfection, because if I were to go out and say, I want to run a 17-minute 5K, all right, I'm going to have to knock off 7 minutes. At 50 years old, that may be a little challenging, but let's push. Mute the noise. And I kind of elaborated on this earlier with the comparison kills progress. Comparison is the thief of joy. Limit your social media or external voices that feed your self-doubt, and tune into your own rhythm instead. We are so busy constantly scrolling. Oh man, look at all that. I follow a lot of people on Instagram, the Scarecrow Runner, if you want to find me out there, if you haven't already located me, and also on YouTube as well. But man, I'm like, what did Troy do today? And what did Avery do today? And what did Coy do today? And you start looking at stuff, not to necessarily always compare, but I'm like, what did they do? One, because I like to interact with friends that are out there. That's okay. Encourage and motivate others. But don't compare yourself, right? Don't put yourself in a position that you are comparing yourself constantly. Man, he's running fast all the time. I wish I was me. Man, I wish I could run those splits. Man, I wish I could run that distance again. Mute the noise. Limit the amount of interaction that you have on social media if it causes you struggle, if it causes you problems. If you're always out there posting, and I'm guilty of this, guys, man, I wish my post had more likes, more hearts. You start to put yourself on an island, right? And you start to build self-doubt and discouragement. Man, I wish more people would like my post. I wish people were more supportive of what I do. Stop. Just stop. Stop comparing. And mute the noise. If people are out there being negative to you, or if people are out there not being encouraging to you, then mute it. Get rid of them or get rid of it. Take some time away and take a mental health break. I know lots of people on social media that have recently taken breaks off of Instagram and Facebook and other platforms, TikTok and all those threads and such, because we're constantly looking at reels and constantly looking at shorts and things like that. Don't always compare, right? Do it maybe for a short period of time to watch it for entertainment purposes, but keep it at that. Don't compare yourself to other people, and quit just listening to the self-doubt and the lies that like to sneak in there. It's like, see, you could do better. You don't look as good at that run. Or maybe if you pose this way, or maybe if you posted it this way, just stop. Limit the noise. And then finally, celebrate others without losing yourself. And I kind of have already elaborated to this. You can follow your friends and see what they're doing and just encourage other people. That's what I want to encourage y'all to do, is encourage others. Be a fan. Be in their corner, right? Be that support for them. We're always worried about what we're doing. You know what? Have you ever stopped to think that maybe that person, even though they're posting something and they look like a rock star, maybe they're struggling with self-doubt? Maybe they're struggling internally? A lot of people that have mental problems, right? And they're dealing with depression and separation, anxiety. They're going through a divorce or a death in the family or withdrawals, or they're dealing with an injury. They're dealing with something that is bothering them, but they don't share that in public eye. Maybe they're struggling with comparison, right? Maybe they're trying to push themselves because they see everybody else doing it. Just stop and be their friend and be an encouragement. That's one of the gifts that I've been blessed with, is to be an encourager and to be somebody that's uplifting and positive. If you're out there running on the trails, or if you're at a race, man, way to go. Keep it up. Good job. Even if you're struggling in your own race, muster up enough energy and oomph to say, way to go. Good job. A smile on your face, a positive, uplifting approach. Man, guys, that goes miles. When you see somebody that you know that they're in the zone, but they'd spend enough time to say, way to go, great job, good effort. It goes a long ways, guys. Be positive out there. Be uplifting out there. Support your peers without turning their success into your hurdles and pressuring you to do something that you don't need to do. There's room for everybody to win. Okay? So, celebrate those victories with your friends. Celebrate their achievements. Celebrate what they're doing. Be encouraging. Be uplifting. You know what? People do it to you, I'm sure. Hey man, great workout out there today. I know it was hot, but you showed up and you did it. I get those types of responses. Man, way to go in those humid conditions. Just be positive. Short little note. Hey man, Troy, way to go. John, way to go. Tracy, outstanding work in that humidity. Great splits. You're doing great work. You're knocking that split down from last week or last month. Way to go. Power of positivity, guys. Be encouraging, be positive, be uplifting. Most of all, be a friend to others. It'll go so much further than if you're just always about yourself, always doing what you're wanting to do and not worrying about other people. When we stop looking at ourselves and we start looking to see what we can do for other people, guys, it goes a long ways. It's amazing to see how far it can go and encourage other people and uplift other people. Power positivity. Be a friend, be uplifting, just encourage. And go out there and run your race, not somebody else's. Encourage somebody else, but at the same time, go out and run your race. Find your why. Quit comparing. Power positivity, right? Don't compare. Limit your social media time. Knock out those negative thoughts. Uplift your friends. Find out why. What else did I say? mute the noise. Progress over perfection. Set your goals, right? Small goals, medium goals, large, long-range goals. Find a spot and find your groove and go for it, guys. I know you can do it. I know you can do this. Remember, tell yourself that. I can do hard things. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, according to Philippians 4:13. That's one of my favorite verses. And I can do hard things, all hard things. Friends, thank you for joining me on the Scarecrow Runner podcast today. I hope this was uplifting and encouraging for you and gave you some inspiration. Drop me a comment. Let me know how you're doing. I'd love to hear from you guys, whether it's on YouTube or Podbean or wherever you're listening. Instagram, find me out there. Love to hear from you guys and connect with y'all. And until next time, we'll see you down the road. Take care and God bless.